Today is, what is today? Tuesday, August 26th. And the title of this rant will be 30 Days Half September. April, June. Okay. But for Congress, it's not 30 days in September. It's basically 22 days, and we're going to subtract even from there. So Tuesday, September 8th is the day that Congress comes back into session. Of course, nothing's going to happen the first day. So we take that out. Then we have 2 weekends. That's 4 days out of that. We got to take that out. So they don't have a lot of time to work, and they got a lot to do, lots going on. And the chance of a shutdown, to me right now, is looking much, much greater. So Congress comes back on Tuesday, September 8th. Guess who is rearing his ugly little head from the underground bunker on Observation and 41st Street Northwest? Yes, the old Vice President of the United States, Dick Cheney, is going to be speaking, Cato Institute Heritage Foundation, against the Iran deal. So that's one thing that's coming up in September. Cheney's going to start right out with it. Now remember, by September 17th, there has to be a decision, there has to be a vote on the Iran deal. Now, there are two scenarios. Number one, that the House is going to vote that they do not approve of the Iran deal, and the Senate will vote on whether if they approve of the Iran deal. The House will definitely vote that they will not approve of it. It may not even get to a vote in the Senate if the Democrats can get 40 people, so it will filibuster the Senate. Now, if they can't get 40 people, the Senate will pass it. Obama will veto it, and it'll have to come back. I believe the Senate is the first one. The House is the first one that would have to vote to override the veto, and they need 2/3. And Nancy Pelosi is working overtime right now to guarantee that she will have more than 1 third of the Democratic House members that will vote to sustain the veto, so to speak. She's even bringing in ambassadors from the other 5 countries: England, France, Germany, China, and the Soviet Union, to talk to the elected officials in Congress, in the House, the Democrats, as to what the deal means and what it would not mean if Obama's veto is overridden. And then, of course, if that gets passed, then it would go to the Senate. And of course, the Senate would need to have, I believe, 34 Senate members who would disapprove of the veto, disapprove of overriding the veto. So that could get very, very nasty in September. Now, there are 2 things that are going to happen in September. They're going to take a whole day, because that's all anyone's going to talk about, and a little it's going to get done. The first one is the Republican debates, which I believe is September 15th or 16th, which is going to be right before the Iran vote. And of course, you have 4 sitting senators who are running for president right now: Cruz, Rubio, Rand Paul, and Lindsey Graham. And they'll be demagoguing that damn thing all over the place. Big time, as Dick Cheney would say. And they'll be bringing up every other thing that they want to do to close down the government, which I think is becoming a more and more likely possibility. So remember, I'm saying more and more likely possibility. But so what else besides that? Well, guess who shows up into town that hasn't, first time he's ever been to town? The new sheriff, the Pope. The Pope is going to show up on September 20th. He's going to speak to a joint session of Congress one of those days. He's going to be with Obama one of those days. So a lot of stuff's going to go on about that. Now remember, Boehner claims to be a big Catholic. Pelosi's a big Catholic. And they're sort of on the opposite sides of the political spectrum here. And the Pope may really tear the Republicans a new rectal cavity in this regard, in terms of helping the poor and in terms of saving the planet. Now, they're going to say that they don't get the Republicans will say that they don't get their economic views from the Pope, that they get it from economists, blah, blah. They don't even get it from economists the way they work now. But the thing is that the Pope will be speaking on moral grounds, in terms of minimum wage, in terms of saving the planet, and in terms of helping the poor. He might even throw in some Black Lives Matter stuff that's going on there. That's going to take a day. So, and remember, we got a couple weekends in there, and there are a couple things they got to get done before they approve the budget. They have, what are the other? They got the Iran, got the debate, got the Pope, got the Export-Import Bank, which is the low-lying fruit that the Republicans want to get rid of because it's easy fruit to get rid of for them. If they can get rid of that, they can get rid of other stuff. Now remember, the corporatists in the Republican Party want to keep it. So we'll see what happens there. And then we have Planned Parenthood, which is, I'll bring more up about that in a second, the Highway Trust Fund, and what's the other thing? And later on, after the budget, we have a debt ceiling that's coming around in October and November. So we have another opportunity to screw a lot of things up. Now, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Rand Paul, haven't heard much about Lindsey Graham, big on cutting all the funding for Planned Parenthood. Cruz wants to make it his crusade. And there are a fair number of Republicans in the House who have clearly indicated as of today that they will not vote on any measure whatsoever that includes funding for Planned Parenthood. And they are willing to shut the government down for that. So that will be very interesting. Now remember, Boehner and his buddies, they don't want to shut the government down. McConnell doesn't want to shut the government down. They want to prove that they're big boys and they can do these types of things. And they have this pesky little problem over here. And will the House have to use Democratic votes to pass it? Possibly. Is that what Boehner wants to do? No. Oh, there's another thing I forgot. Boehner, there might be a call on him being Speaker. He might get recalled, so to speak. Don't know if that'll happen, but that's already talking about in the works. Now, there was a poll that was done very recently. I can't remember where it was from exactly, but it had to do with the fact that they asked the conservatives of the conservatives, the Tea Party types, what was more important for them? To have a candidate for president who espoused their values, or to have a candidate for president that could actually win the election. And they said that they wanted a candidate who espoused their values more than a candidate who could win the election. That's why they hate Jeb. Okay? But what that means is that, number one, if they don't get their candidate, number one, they may not vote. And number two is that being true to their core convictions to them is more important than electing a Republican as president. And I think that is very crucial into everything that's going on. So all of those things I named are all big things that are going to be happening in September. And one of the reasons why I said I think Trump might start fizzling out, and I believe that he has peaked, even though I think he might have gone up a little bit in some regards, is that all of this stuff that's going to go on in September, he's going to get drowned out. And all of the things that the elected representatives are the ones who are going to be making the decisions. It doesn't make any difference how much he spouts off. People aren't going to be listening to him. They'll be listening to the people in the House and the Senate and what they are going to do. And remember, there's going to be all kinds of backdoor dealings that they're trying to get going on. They don't have a whole heck of a lot of time. They got to consolidate a whole lot of stuff. There's got to be a whole lot of agreement that comes around to this whole thing to make it work. There'll be a lot of stuff that's thrown out there to make this person look bad, that position look bad. That stuff will be coming all through the woodworks, especially on the Iran deal. So I see that there is a greater likelihood that there is a possibility of a shutdown. And there will be a lot going on in September. None of it really outside of the one debate will have anything to do with Trump. And he'll have to work extra overtime to get in the limelight right then. But when you have Cruz, who really looks like he will make this Planned Parenthood thing his Custard's last stand, so to speak, he's going to go down with it. And of course, he's going to, and then if he loses, which he easily could lose, he'll say that they weren't, that they didn't want it enough, that they weren't willing to sacrifice enough to close down Planned Parenthood. So we got a lot of factions who don't want to work together, that have to work together. So we'll see what happens.